I'll die in here before I ever say I did something I didn't do. And they use me and my co-defendant to take the fall for the other guys.
The only platform on this planet where we take real stories from real people and we pair them with movies. And today we have Marino Bates on the channel, and the movie that he says best relates to his life experience is Dark Blue. Now, for the world that don't know, how does this movie relate to your life?
Well, this movie relates to my life because I was framed by Los Angeles Police Department, and this movie shows how they were acting in the '90s, how they were using people with criminal records to cover up crimes they were committing that they were using by others, having other people do. And
Mm.
I was basically caught up in that situation where someone else did something and they used me and my co-defendant to take the fall for the other guys that did the
Oh.
actual crime.
Let's dive a little deeper. Like what was you charged for, and like what are you saying they allege that you did that you did not do?
Okay. This is what I did do. Okay, me and my co-defendant, we went to a house to steal some drugs. We went to a house to steal some drugs. We went to this house. We had ski masks on and we had weapons. We knocked on the door, and when we knocked on the door, the guy put a gun on us.
Mm.
So we ran, and then in the process of running, I dropped my keys on the lawn of the next door house. The next day, the newspaper came out that a private detective got killed in that same house that we went to that night. So this Mexican guy that went with us that knocked on the door when we got chased away, he had the newspaper. He said, "Hey man, somebody got killed over there after we left." So we thought nothing of it. We thought like, okay, somebody twisting, set up, nothing of it. Okay, 8 months later, I get arrested. I get arrested for out of state warrant for selling drugs. I get arrested for that, and I'm in the county jail about to get my bail reinstated. But then I get questioned by the police officers. They come down to the county jail and want to talk to me about this case,
Mm.
and they're telling me that I did this murder. And I was like, no, I was not there. I didn't do this murder. I don't know nothing about the murder. I get polygraphed,
Mm.
and then I think nothing of it. The next thing you know, we're charged with this murder. So we're wondering, like, how did we get caught up with this murder? Well, the guy that told us about the drugs at the house, he gets arrested for his third strike. When he gets arrested, he tells the police that he knows who did the murder, and they ask him how. They said because he dropped his keys, and I'm in jail for a pair of some keys being next door to a murder scene. That's why
Mm.
I'm in jail. And then and it goes deeper than that. Then the people inside the house, the guy inside the house, his cousin was a watch commander of LAPD major crimes,
Mm.
and he takes over the case from the Valley detectives who initially suspected the homeowners are doing the crime, and they come out there, and next thing you know, me and Michael, we're caught up in this right here.
So you saying the
Period.
dude? So you saying one of the homeowners had family who was a detective, and you saying one of the that same homeowner had more evidence on him than what they try to put you on.
Yes, they have. Okay, we have. Since I've been having the Innocence Project, we obtained the discovery. We obtained the chronological record. So it states in there that the homeowner was not cooperating with the police initially until you contacted his cousin, Sergeant David Rossi of LAPD, to facilitate his cooperation. We have all that on paper, and he refused a polygraph test. I have that on document through the police reports, and he also was going to the neighbors asking them what did they tell the police about the case. So we have all this document. I have it all documented, and it's like it's solidified in paperwork. So I have it all.
So the fact
So
that you're using this movie to relate to your life, Dark Blue, you're the way you're explaining it, you're saying that not only was you wrongfully convicted, but this was an inside job within the
yes,
department.
yes, it was an inside job because the guy that got murdered was a private investigator, and he was
Oh,
under
okay.
investigation by Internal Affairs. So he was under investigation by Internal Affairs.
Um,
This guy was I guess he was acting paranoid before he got killed, and he got killed there. He got because when we went over there to initially, they never opened the door. They just cracked the door, so we don't know if he was
um,
dead inside there already because we never stepped foot inside that house. We
um.
never stepped inside the house. We don't know what the inside of the house looked like. We wasn't over there. We didn't shoot anybody, we just got they used some keys, and that guy that told us about the lick to book us for murder within 10 months. So we went to jail in August, and we was in prison the following July with life without plus extra years for this crime.
And how
Less than a
long you
year.
been down?
29.
29. Like what does that do to a person mentally to go through that? Because I know when I did my 15, a lot of what got me through it is knowing I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay,
you did
yeah,
that, go ahead and do your time. But for a person like you saying that didn't do it, what does that do to you mentally?
in the beginning, like I said, I was with the homies. I'm Compton. I'm from Compton. I was I'm with the homies, drinking, smoking, selling,
Mm,
selling drugs, fighting, gang banging, politicking, all of that, because I was hopeless, because I was like,
mm,
how do you explain that you went to a house to do a robbery and then someone get killed there an hour later and it's not you?
mm,
And you're black, and this is a multi-million-dollar neighborhood and by a college in Northridge. So it's like, who's going to believe me? So I was like, how do you explain this right here? And so I for years, but so what I was trying to do for years, I was trying to figure out, how did this happen? Because I didn't know. I was just thinking, like, how did it happen? So I even wrote the detective on my case. I was like, look, man, I didn't do this. Can you please reinvestigate the case? I didn't know he was a part of the conspiracy until 2020, when the Innocence Project picked up my case and started sending me discovery. That's when I knew, like, okay, it was, they knew from the jump that me and CT didn't do this. They already knew from day one that we didn't do this crime. You know what I mean?
right.
And so now I know that it was an inside job. But then I knew back then, I was suspected it was an inside job. But now I know for a fact it was an inside job, because I had the evidence to solidify that fact.
So what characters in the movie you're saying you mostly relate to?
In the movie, they had this black guy and this white guy robbing stores. And in the movie, they killed this Asian couple in a liquor store. So it became high profile, where they wanted to solve this murder. Like my case was high profile. I was in the newspaper, the LA Times, Daily News. I was
Mm,
on TV multiple times. You know what I mean? And so in this movie, it was high profile. So it started getting back to the police. So they started finding the connection between the guys in the movie and the police, and they were in fear that these guys might tell who did the murder. So they told the officers, look, it's getting hot. You need to find somebody to put this murder on. So what the police did, they got these records of people with criminal records, looking for the people who've been in prison, been around gangs. And they said, put the murder on them. They use our criminal history to, in our gang banging, our selling drugs. They use that to, we like the perfect people. And by us going over there and getting chased away, that just compounds the situation.
right, right. And in the that was in the 90s?
96, 96.
Yeah, that's yeah, it was real bad then. You said
Yes.
LAPD?
Yeah, LAPD major. I have the same police officers that OJ have. I have Tom Lane,
Mm,
Petro Tony, and I have that Asian guy Dennis Fung, who's
right.
messing with the DNA evidence. He has our evidence.
Mm,
He controlled the evidence. That's when we have evidence missing, forensic evidence missing, stuff lost, everything in my case to this day.
okay,
To this day,
okay. And where's your co-defendant at?
he's on the streets. He's out.
Okay, okay.
He's out. He's
And
out.
how did he get out?
Okay. He filed a resentencing to get resentenced up under the new law that if you're not the shooter, you're eligible to get resentenced, right? But when he filed it up under the thing. Well, I wasn't there. I didn't do it. I had
Mm,
nothing to do with it. So they told him, they denied him initially, but the California Supreme Court gave him an order to show cause. So when he went back down to court, um, they didn't they hit for evidentiary hearing. They never had the evidentiary hearing. So they came with a stipulation. In this stipulation, he said that I was there the first time where I got chased away, but I was not there when the murder happened. They dropped his case to a manslaughter, gave him 11 years time served, and let him out. And he had life without plus 25 to life plus 15. And I had all these lawyers from the Innocence Project at court. They covered the whole. It's not on record. They just let him go.
mm,
And basically, he has to file a habeas from the streets to clear his name.
right, right.
So my lawyers from the Innocence Project has been talking to him, and but it's like resources. It's like resources. It's a nonprofit. Their lack of resources, lack of. So I'm trying to reach out and try to like get some media coverage or some investigators to put a spotlight on my case.
Okay. Let's segue real quick, like for people to know who you are, like as a person. Like, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
I grew up. I grew up in the like um Compton, Watts, Hoover. I grew up in South Central LA, right? Since I was like, I grew up, went to Bret Hart, all the LA schools. I went through all the schools. Okay, when my father stayed on the east side, but my mom moved to the valley like in 80. 84, 82, 83. So I used to go out there on the weekends and hang out with her. So in the process of all this right here, I used to I went back and forth, and then I got caught up into the drug game at like 15. So at 15 I left home, and at 15 I started selling drugs in motels. So that's like uh, my main thing. You know what I mean? Just drug. I've been in the streets since I was 15. So all I ever knew was street life. You know what I mean? I knew street life, and like far as prison, I haven't done in my life. I've probably done 3 years before this. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
like petty stuff. You know, I've been like in the streets selling dope my whole life, and then just one time, I took it like I was selling dope, and I got caught in a conspiracy to interstate traffic, and I was on bail, and I took a huge loss. So this Mexican guy told us these guys got some kilos and some money. We can go over there and lick them. They're not going to do anything. So I got convinced to do this. So this is outside my element right here. You know what I mean? So I did that right there, and then I got caught up with something like way over my head for like 60 seconds. Knock on the door, pull a gun, run, drop my keys. That's it. That's it. No shoot, doesn't shoot no gun. Never met these guys before. Never been inside the house. Don't know who killed them. Wasn't there when he got killed. Don't know why he got killed. We didn't know anything. We just know my keys. By my keys being next door to that house, they used the keys to book me. And I picked up reading and stuff since I came in here. I started reading books and studying and articulating myself better.
And what has that
Other than
did for you?
and okay, I got my GED. I took a little college. I kind of like I dropped out when the Innocent Project picked up my case in 19. I dropped out of college, and I've been doing legal ever since. That's what I do. 20. I wrote 2 books, and I'm on my second book right now called The Murder Book. It's about my case, and I wrote a book called Against All Odds about my life story. So my
Right.
hope is that once I get exonerated, I can put these books on the websites of the Innocence Project and make it my vessel, or
Right.
whether through your platform. But it's like it's true, and it's I want to wait till all this is come to fruition. Then I'm gonna have that prepared. I'm preparing for that right now because I'm basically speaking this into existence.
Mm.
My truth will be eventually told.
Okay. Okay. And what do you say to people you know who say that even if you didn't commit the actual murder, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you was a menace to society, you deserve to be up in there?
Because because the people that's placed in of authority, they're held to a higher standard. They could look at me and say, okay, if it was just like how could I put it? If it wasn't maliciously and intentionally done, you can use that argument but it's like this was maliciously done. This was like intentionally done. So these are people that the public place their trust in. So they have to be trusted. And if you got like the judge, the DA, the state appointed attorney, the crime lab, you got them in collusion. That's making a mockery of the system. So it goes beyond me. It's about the whole system.
Mm.
And the other people that's not like me that doesn't have a criminal record. What about them people? If you trust in these people with everybody's freedom, and then they're corrupt, they're just as worse as my criminal history.
Mm.
You, but they have the authority, the Constitution, the resources, the taxpayers' money to um to use as their platform, just to like frame people. You know what I mean? They can have this person alter their evidence. They could coerce witnesses to say whatever they wanted to say, and they can give them a deal. You get out on your 3 strikes, like they did in my case. They gave a dude, got him out of his 3 strikes, gave him own recognizances, relocated him, and everything. So
Mm.
it's like, and then so how could you, if you want to like, that's like apples and oranges. Like basically, what you're saying is that because I have a criminal record, that justifies that this guy that got killed, that the guy that killed this guy get to walk the streets. And who else has he killed? What else has he done since that time? I never
Right.
killed anybody. I never killed anyone. So you can't say I killed someone. I never killed anyone. But what about that person? What about that person's family, the victim's family? What about them? Because every day they wake up, they think that I did something that somebody that close to him did. So
Right.
they're being lied to too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
When we look at Perry in the movie, Perry, he the one that had the wife and stuff like that who left him, and he was the
mm-hmm,
one that corrupted his rookie partner and
mm-hmm,
stuff
yeah,
like
uh-huh,
that. So we look at Perry towards at the end. he pretty much convicted himself when he stood on that thing and made a testimony, spilling out
Yes.
all his sins and, you know, even ratting out everybody else in the department. But the part that I'm leaning on is as he was talking, he talked about how the lessons that he led by his father taught him, and then his father was taught by his grandfather. So,
Yes.
speaking on corruption, it just shows that in life, corruption is not just passed on by peers; it's passed down by generations. You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Systemic.
So, even though the department was corrupt, what type of corruption would you say you experienced down your bloodline that conditioned you a certain way to live the lifestyle that you live?
You know to be honest, man. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. Like I come from a military family. You know, my
Mm,
brother, my sister, my father, and I got a very successful family. Very successful family. I took the I was basically because I was infatuated by the cars and the money
mm,
and the bling, that kind of corrupted me.
right.
The material things corrupted me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The material and I didn't have no life skills
Okay.
because they were strict and I didn't take heed to their lessons. They were telling me the way you're going to end up in jail, but I wouldn't listen
Mm,
because I took the easy way out. Fast money. I didn't want to go to the military like my brother did. I didn't want to, go to the Navy like my sister did.
mm.
I wanted to sell drugs and roll on Dayton's.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean? And that's what I wanted to do. And I know the drugs, the clothes, that's when you get all the girls and everybody's kissing your butt and all that right there. And that's what my life. So I liked it that.
right.
I liked it. Everybody jocking me, everybody paging me, everybody wanting to buy drugs from me, everybody saying my car clean, everybody saying my shoes nice, everybody saying my jewelry. That was my drug. So it
Right.
was that was my drug, and that's where my karma came from. My
Mm,
karma came from poisoning the community. Period. All the
okay.
lives I affected because I was up there selling a lot of dope, but I wasn't selling it on the curb, but I was still supplying everybody on the curb, and that's my karma.
Mm,
My karma, because it's murder. It's like it's something like because I was thinking, as long as I sell dope, I always get out. But to get life without for a person you never seen, then you got to wake up every day in prison for somebody that got killed that you never seen before. Every
right.
day, every day. Now everybody think you guilty in here. I don't want to hear nobody saying they innocent.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because they'll take it as, oh, he thinks he's better than me. He thinks, you know what I mean? They don't think it like, okay, this guy got twisted. They don't care about that. It's cutthroat in here.
Right,
It's
right,
cutthroat. It's cutthroat. And like the police department, they're cutthroat. They're not just going to come on and say, hey, we framed these two brothers for a murder that one of our cousins did. You got to like force them to do that. You got to get on here on these platforms and put it out there so somebody can listen and like, okay, let's question them. Like I stand by my truth.
mm,
I stand by my truth. So you can put anything you want. I have the documents to solidify my truth. So and I welcome any adversary from the other side. I welcome to be on one of these shows with any adversary because you can't make this stuff up. Not
right,
no more. Not no more.
right,
And then and it's best for them to keep it here, like with my co-defendant, how they just let him out without no evidentiary hearing. So none of that stuff that they found these witnesses that seen a white van, they never got to go to court because they let them out. So none of it's on record, which doesn't help me. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's just more and more and more, and it's like how do you I mean the innocent part they quick to scoop my case up once they read it, but the complications of who did it makes my case difficult. When you got framed by the police, they're not going to admit that ever. You know what I mean? Ever. They're not going to admit that. They're going to hide evidence, suppress evidence, litigate, keep you tied up in it. And I'll die in here before I ever say I did something I didn't do.
Mm,
Dying here, straight up. I'm not taking no deal. I'm not taking nothing. You know what I mean? I would take my last breath in prison before I would say I did something I didn't do. And just disrespect my beliefs. So, like I'm with that thing. If you don't stand for something, you don't stand for nothing.
right,
And that's
right,
me.
right. Okay, okay.
All that.
And what would you say is the underlying like life lesson in the whole movie that we should like carry with us in the real world?
I learned that if I would have never placed myself in such a precarious situation, I wouldn't be in here talking to you right now. I placed myself in a position to where I could get framed by living a life of crime.
Mm,
If I would been at work, I wouldn't have been there. If I would have been at school, I wouldn't have been there. So I placed myself in a position that gave them the opportunity to to frame me for murder.
Right.
It's like going to a liquor store and you stealing a candy bar, and or you get into it with the cash register and they see you on camera. All right, so then bam, you leave. Then somebody comes to the liquor store and they smoke the dude, and then he's not on camera, but they seen you with that candy bar, so they're gonna automatically think that what you
Right.
did it,
Right.
you camera, and nobody else is on camera.
Right.
Like that.
Putting
You know what I
yourself in
mean?
the wrong in the wrong situation.
Up to yep. Yep. And now it's like and now like you got like I said you got other victims. You got this person that got killed. His families are victims because they don't know.
Mm.
Like I said, I'm guilty of going to a house, knocking on the door, getting to pull a gun and running. So and that's 16, 2 and 3 at the
Right.
worst, at the most. You know what I mean? So and they give me life without plus 21 years.
I can only
Huh?
imagine like just the losses you had to
My mom just
endure.
died. My mom just died. My mom just died on the 30th of last month.
Mm.
Of April 30th. My mom just passed. And she
Yeah.
was waiting for me to get out. So that was like the
Damn.
most.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah, man. She died, man. That was the worst experience of my life. I mean, I never felt that pain ever. You know what I mean? That was like my worst because she wanted, and I talked to her why she was passing
Mm.
through this type of format. You know what I mean? And I was like, and I was thinking like, man, it makes me like, okay, I gotta fight. I gotta fight. And then look, here you come. You know what I mean? You never know how God works. He works in
Right.
mysterious ways. You know what I mean? Because I already have like I got the LA Innocence Project. I got a former Innocent Project attorney. I got this lawyer there, Erlac, looking into my case. I got a crime. So I have like it's just like I'm not out there, but I have people that's interested. But I'm thinking that this right here expedites the process right here
Right.
because it needs to be. There's people out there that need to hear this because it's the truth.
For sure.
It's the truth. It's the truth. So you can't sugarcoat the truth. Is always told the same all the time, forever. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's the truth, and I stand by my truth. And I and
Right.
I and I have now through the grace of God, I have the documents to solidify my truth, which I didn't have 6, 7 years ago, which I've been trying to get my entire time of incarceration. I've been trying to get this murder book
Right.
because it shows who did, it shows the forensics, it shows the crime scene photo, it shows the chronological record. I have that now. You know what I mean? But see, it's the procedural bars of getting back in the court to present this evidence. But if somebody can see it and with resources and they can question these people of authority like the DA Hockman of Los Angeles and question like I'm not the minute I'm innocent. So question let me stand by my truth. I mean he can use that against them, but he can't use that against me because I'm innocent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he has to justify why they did what they did.
Right. And I can once again when I was in there, I worked in the law library for 2 years,
Uh huh.
and
Okay.
I'm just bringing that up to like you see how hard men have to fight when you're trying to get them to admit that they wrong. How do you forgive
Oh, I
somebody
forget.
that
Oh,
puts you in that position like that?
because I leave it in God's hands, man. Because I know that like everything is for a reason. This was His plan for me to go through this right here, and maybe through this I can help others understand what goes on. But for me being bitter, that makes that I turned 58 today. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And just got through running 4 miles. You know what I'm saying. So I just like I got a strong will, man. I'm sober. Don't do no drugs. I don't eat red meat. I'm on some like you know what I mean. I'm on like you got to be strong. I got to outlast them.
Right.
You know what I mean? To get my voice heard. So I can't be playing. I can't be up in here being mad at nobody or being vindictive. That's the energy, man. That's stress. You know what I mean? You gotta leave it in God. So they did what they did. So I'm not gonna get the time back. And if they say, "Oh, I'm sorry," what does that help? Oh, I'm sorry. My mom's gone. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? My aunt's gone. My grandma's gone. They're gone. They're gone.
Mhm.
They can't give me them back. They can't give me their funeral attendances. They can't give me none of that stuff back. So why be mad at them? They did what they did. It's my job to untangle it.
Right.
And then let the powers that be deal with them like they dealt with me.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm on. My thing is I want to get back, man, because it's a lot of brothers up in here that I see that they not all innocent, but a lot of them got twisted though. Like they got twisted. They don't have no private investigator to go out to get affidavits, just simple stuff. And I was even thinking about like a nonprofit investigator, like investigation type of service to give people affidavits because everybody here needs affidavits to get back in court. To go talk. They don't have money. They don't have 1,500 for no private investigator. They don't have no help.
Mm.
And you got some dudes worthy of help. I mean, it may be only a few that's really um, engaged in trying to get up out of jail or have belief, but them few need help, man. They need help because they like me. How did you get the innocent part? And I write well, so that's probably what got me help. You know what I mean? I was able to articulate my situation, and everybody can't do that up in here.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean? They'd be like, okay, I mean, and they have a story, but they just don't know how to tell it.
right. And it's like black people know all too well, aside from your case, we know all too well, like, that the law is promoted to be unbiased and a colorblind guardian for us. But in actuality, it's the complete opposite of that towards Black America. You're going through something that is the majority of our kind, but is rare amongst the general population. You know what I'm saying? To get a life sentence for something that you did not do. And I'm glad that I'm able to shed light on that.
Huh?
So it's deep, it's heavy, it's a lot to take in. And do you have any final thoughts or like a message that you want to get out that has a positive charge at the end?
Yes. Okay. The message that I want to get out, man, is that people need to listen sometimes. Listen to people cries because everyone is not in here for something that they did, and they have people out here that really are innocent, but we're all stereotyped as like everybody that's in jail say they're innocent. Especially when they're black, we're more likely to be thought of as guilty. You know what I mean? And my thing is for people to listen. Just listen. Just listen, and then like with an open mind. With an open mind, just don't listen to one side. Listen to both sides, and then weigh it then.
Y'all heard it here. Marino Bates as his life relates to the movie Dark Blue. Y'all like it, subscribe, share it everywhere you can share it on your platforms. Leave your comments and continue to help us shed light on his case and his life. You know what I'm saying? This at the end of the day, this human being.
Every seed
You
that we
know.
planted bore some rotten
So
fruit.
I
The baby
appreciate
boom
you
was
till
so
next
cracked,
time.
just a copper coop. They taught us slide and shoot. Judge hangers with the noose. Never show no mercy on your ops. Never call a truce. Big bruh said you could be a pimp. All you gotta do is have her mind and you could lead the bitch. Brainwashed by the six, but then with self-imposed limitations. Trying to hit this home run before we load the bases. Never had no patience. All my partners died young, and yet and still we emulated examples that they died from.